What do we just witness?
My name is Jeff.
I could see Dable doing that.
Oh my God.
Coach Dable, what was your strategy going into the second half? My name is Jeff.
Welcome everybody to the hashtag Sports post-game show, brought to you by a 6-pack of Modelo and a couple pieces of pizza.
When you're feeling especial.
That's right. When you're feeling a special, there we go. A normal screen comes in right away.
Coming
They
in
look
hot.
bad. They look bad.
It looked bad. No.
It hurts so bad. You're
No,
absolutely right.
Mo. No, Mo. My forehead at this very moment looks bad. The Bills looked atrocious.
Halo 2000, great game.
Who's that? Halo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about great game.
Yeah, I would not qualify great game. So a little bit of here's the deal, right? We can look at this a couple different ways. You can look at this and saying the Bills missed opportunities, which I think is probably a little bit of an understatement. You could also look at this as saying that Josh Allen didn't have his best game. Yeah, there are a lot of different perspectives you can take into this game, right? Lots of different perspectives. But I think one of the first things that we need to talk about right away that everybody's going to want to talk about is the QB run on 3rd and 2, the designed run call, because that's going to be bulletin board material for every Bills fan that hates Brian Dable and every Bills fan that hates Josh Allen. And it's bulletin board material on both sides, right?
Yes, I
So
understand.
let's talk about that right away. 3rd and 2, they run a QB keeper to Allen along the right side of the line behind behind Ty Nsekhe, excuse me. So explain to me the case that you want to make for that play. Where do you sit? Because again, you can look at that as a Josh Allen problem. You can look at it as a Brian Dable problem. It's all about perspective. So where do you put that?
There could be a couple different problems that go on along with that play. Is the fact that Dable doesn't trust Allen to throw the ball in that situation. It's a 3rd and 2. They've run that play before. They've run that play the week before they ran that play.
Sure did.
I'm not going to get louder yet. I'm not getting loud yet. So they ran that play the week before against Miami, and they were able to have success with it, and they were able to get a first down on it. I understand that. You have to know that that's probably going to be scouted by your opponent. Don't just run a play to run a play because it was successful. That doesn't make any sense. The other thing is this. You want to be concerned with the time and what's going on. It was the start of the 2-minute warning. He probably had 2 plays called back-to-back.
Yeah.
Okay, so he probably said, listen, after you get the first down, I want to run this play. I'm guessing. If he's an offensive coordinator, 2-minute warning, doesn't want to burn all 3 timeouts, or he maybe wanted to. I don't know. If you get a first down there, you're still in your territory, you can call a timeout. Or he said he had 2 plays back-to-back that were going to happen, and then it never manifested in itself. So the turnover is something you don't plan for. That's Allen.
Right.
Okay, so you could be disagreeing with the call. It served them. It was successful in the past. He thinks it would serve him to be successful in the beginning or last week. But the thing is, what you're going to see is that the Buffalo Bills were out-coached today. You could say a lot of things about Allen, Dable, Frazier, McDermott, Schwartz, Peterson, all this other stuff. They got out-coached today. You don't break off a 65-yard run on the second play from scrimmage unless you find creases in that defense that you can do something with. You know, Sanders had 74 yards. I believe Howard had like 90-some yards. The Bills' defensive front. We'll get to that. Well, we're talking about the offense right now. I'm saying, but the Bills' defensive front just were not successful today. It was not good. I don't know if they came in flat. I don't know if they came in and I really don't know. But I wish I could just pinpoint what the reason was why they were getting gashed up the middle so much. And maybe Philly has Miami to thank for that. Because Miami was able to gash.
Miami was able to gash us up the middle too. Yeah, and that's one thing that you always have to look at, right? Is what did other teams do that were successful against the Buffalo Bills, and what are teams doing moving forward that seem to be consistent, right? Because now you're starting to see some trends develop, right? So you look at the run defense, and you're like, okay, well, the run defense was pretty solid the first few games, but we're starting to digress here. So teams are starting to pick stuff up on film that the Bills aren't covering up yet. Aha, look at you. You figured out how to make it. Look at that. Oh,
I
but
can't
you can't
move
move it. Oh. Mario is an old man and can't see anything in the chat, so he keeps having to lean forward. Benjamin Franklin invented the bifocals. I feel it's important to tell you that. All right. Well, I think again, you don't call that play on third down. The Bills were atrocious today on third down, so let's just call the stats what the stats are. So
Yeah, bring those
the
stats
Bills
up,
were 6 of 15 on third down with a turnover. Can't do that.
6 of 15.
6 of 15 with a turnover.
With a turnover. No, that's
Can't do that.
unbelievably awful.
Can't do that. The Bills had 14 first down. I'm sorry, excuse me, 16 first downs all day, 2 by penalty, 9 passing, 5 rushing. The Eagles had 21 first downs. The Eagles really controlled the clock throughout most of the game, but they were able to just pound the ball. So it was Eagles had the ball for about 36 minutes. The Bills had it for about 24. 8 penalties for
36-24. That's the most glaring stat of why
It's a whole quarter.
today. Yeah,
That's a quarter.
Why today was what it was. That's why.
And here's the interesting thing, right? Bills attempted 20 rushes at 4.9 yards per clip. 20 rushes at 4.5 yards,
How many passes
4.9
Allen
yards a clip. Allen was, not as many as you would think. Allen was 16 for 34.
So you threw it 34. You ran it 20.
Yeah, you ran 54 offensive plays. Essentially, that's the way you look at it. Tough, man. And again, going back to the third down call, you can't be that inefficient in third downs and expect to be able to hold up, throughout the season. Third downs have been a problem for Buffalo. They were a problem last year. They're a problem this year. Some people will blame Dable for that. Some people will blame Allen for that. It is really about your perspective. You can pick who you want to be mad at.
I think
You really can. You can pick who you want to be mad at here.
we
It's
talked.
a pick 'em.
We tried talking about this, Paul. We tried talking about this because it's a great point that you brought up to me. You said, listen, those of you that are going to be mad at Dable, you're going to be mad at Dable. You're not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Those of you that are upset with Allen,
Yeah.
with his performance,
Yeah.
you're not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like it's like two people arguing about something that's saying, "Oh, it's up," and the other one says, "It's not down."
You
guys are both arguing.
Yeah.
You're both going to be right, and here's why you're both going to be right. There are things that both of them have done today, especially, that you could say, listen, you got to do this, you got to do X, Y, and Z. Well, you have to call X, Y, and Z. You have to do this. You know what I mean? Were there plays where Allen, they called the play and there was nobody open? Mm-hmm. Yes, there was true. Were there plays that they called that he was open and he missed the guy? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have that for today, but what can we focus on that fixes this? Because we're putting on our coordinator hats, we're putting on our head coaching hats. Let's say this. What could fix this? This monstrosity of an offense that has so much talent, is all new pieces. I understand that. Mm-hmm. What could fix it?
There's no depth in this offense.
No.
Right? So it's all one level. If you can cover the Bills 15 to the line of scrimmage, you don't worry about anything past 15 yards. You really don't, right? The Bills showed today that they really weren't willing to push the ball down the field. Again, you had some wind to play with, so for about half of the game, they were really not willing to push the ball too far downfield. But I mean, the truth of the matter is that you only have to defend the Bills 15 yards deep. That's it. You don't have to defend the Bills any further than that, and that's going to cost you games down the road.
Oh boy, look who's here. Look who showed up. Mike, good to see you, buddy. Longtime friend of mine, Mike Murray. He's probably the biggest Eagles fan you'll ever see.
Well, we had Mike on a show
Back in the day.
Right,
you guys are the real deal. We were playing for our season today.
Yeah, and that's true. The Eagles were backed up.
Another thing that we didn't talk about.
Look at their schedule, man. Their schedule is nasty.
Yeah, it is.
I do want to before we move to a point, I want to give a shout out to Jeremiah. He's the son of Pedro Martinez, who's always in our comment section, always in the chat. So thank you very much, Jeremiah, for hanging out with us. Big fan of you for hanging out with us. So thank you. Yeah, sorry, the point that you want to make.
No, I mean, the thing that we're not concentrating on is maybe the Eagles were more of a desperate team today than the Buffalo Bills. And, a couple of things that we talked about, too, near the end of the game, when we were broadcasting the game, we were saying that, okay, the Bills lost today. You think that they're going to beat Washington. You think that game is a very winnable game, that they can beat Washington, right? So what that would mean is that the Bills are 3-1 in the first quarter of their season. They lose to the Patriots. If they beat Washington, they're 3-1 in the second quarter,
Yeah.
losing to the Eagles.
Yeah.
Two teams which in the last 3 years won the Super
If
Bowl.
you keep up that pace, you finish the season 12-4.
Yeah, you keep it that.
You win your division in most divisions in football. You win your division at 12.
But I think where a lot of people are getting upset is they could be upset at the play calling. They could be upset at the offensive production. This was we have to prove to the rest of the league that we're for real. And by losing today, you basically all the doubters are going, see, I told you.
I told you they weren't for real. Yeah, because
Okay.
again, you look at the records of the team the Bills have beat, and it's not very impressive, right? So the teams that they're playing that are now at 500 or greater, right? Because after today, the Eagles are at 500. So you look at the teams that the Bills are losing to, and their records of 500 or greater. You look at the teams the Bills are beating, they're teams with under 500 records.
Atrocious.
So yeah, it's tough. CM Bank says we need a DT and Star needs to go or get benched. Star got pushed around a lot today.
He
That
did.
was a big problem.
He did.
That was a big
And
problem.
coming into the season, I said it a couple times on the broadcast. Preseason rankings, I like to rank teams and all this other stuff. The Philadelphia Eagles had the number 1 ranked offensive line coming into the season. That wasn't like nothing to mess around with. You know what I mean? So they have a very, very, very good offensive line. They've been a Jekyll and Hyde team all year. I mean, how else do you explain a team that loses to the Falcons, but then beats the Packers? Like they've been Jekyll and Hyde.
Right.
And they were a desperate team today.
They sure were.
They were more desperate than the Buffalo Bills. The Bills seemed like they brought the same intensity today as they did against the Miami Dolphins.
Yep.
And we had stated if they brought the same intensity, they were going to get rolled, and they got rolled.
Yep,
So
they sure did.
you look at second half adjustment. I mean, the Bills were down by 3 at the end of the first quarter. They're down by 4 at the end of the second quarter. And then the second play from scrimmage, they hit a 65-yard touchdown run on them. It's just like, who made the better adjustments? Was it Peterson and Schwartz, or was it Frazier and Dable? And the answer was clearly 31-13. That's who made the better decision today.
Right. Well, and I think a lot of people were saying that you need to get Devin Singletary the football more, and I think that's easy to defend. But Devin Singletary didn't get a single look until the second half. And truth be told, Devin Singletary had 3 rushes for 19 yards. That's a 6.3 clip, by the way. But it was 1 rush for 16 yards, which was at the end of the game, right? So you remove that 1 16-yard run in the last minute of a game that was already out of hand. You got 2 carries. You got 2 carries for 3 yards.
He was
the
big dog?
He was 4 for 6. Who was the big dog in the rushing?
Gore.
Gore?
A little bit.
Yeah, so Frank Gore, you're going to love this. 9 rushes for 34 yards, long of 8. So a dirty day for Frank Gore. But Josh Allen's your leading rusher on this football team yet again. And, you want to put the ball in your playmakers' hands to win football games, right?
Carson Wentz outgained Frank Gore today.
Carson Wentz, I believe, did outgain Frank Gore. Carson Wentz ran for 35 yards on 8 attempts.
So we'll get to your guys' questions in the chat as quick as possible because we're going to talk trade. We're going to talk a little bit about trade talks. Who should the Bills trade for? Who would give them a better chance to win in this scenario? Trust process says Buffalo should get someone for the trade on our defense. John Reeser said I still don't know what Dable's plans are. It just seems disconnected. Conversely, Allen seems good in the setup phase of the game, but poor at there's accumulation of that setup. Okay. What it goes on, we talk about identity all the time. I mean, we talked about it this week on the what is the Buffalo Bills offensive identity? Like you had stated an excellent point. That a lot of people said, "Oh, we make great adjustments. We come into the game with a great game plan, and we make great adjustments." Bills 0 points in the first quarter. The Bills 0 points, coming out of halftime. They always have one really good drive where they put it together. And it seems like...
And they've been able to keep the game close.
Yeah.
And that drive's been timed to where they are able to maneuver for the lead. Yeah. But, you take a look at the playmakers on this team, Mario. You have Cole Beasley, who is just a ghost, right? He was a ghost today. But teams know that you can block the Bills out. If you keep everything in front of you, the Bills aren't going to be able to push the ball downfield. You're going to be able to stop them, right? Because you look at the 2 passes that Singletary didn't catch today. He had 8 targets, 6 receptions. Okay, the 2 passes that he didn't catch were losses anyway.
Yeah.
It's just frustrating when you have playmakers, yet you have no ability to get them the football.
I was very shocked because the one touchdown drive that the Buffalo Bills had in the second half, they were running two wide receivers to the one side. They were just running streaks, and then you would have a quick out behind that. And they end up driving down the field and end up scoring on that. It was great. Dable decided to do the same thing the next series. Like, you don't think Schwartz was going to adjust to that type of route combination? It just seems weird because you tried doing it, like you said, you tried doing it with Singletary. You give it to Singletary, he got 1 yard.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, if they keep running 5 wide with a running back out there and not throwing it to him when he just stands there like this and the guy's 12
That happened a
yards
couple
off,
times. If you're watching the play-by-play, the play it happened, Mario and I both, admittedly, we both got a little frustrated.
However, that was the right read in that scenario.
I do agree.
But it was weird that the guy came up to play Singletary when they've never thrown it.
Right.
So the flag route or the post corner that they have was open on that play. He just didn't put it in the right spot for Croft to get. Allen did not look very sharp throwing.
No, again, a lot of late passes from Allen, right?
A lot of late ones, yes.
So let's have the chicken or the egg conversation about this right now. Okay,
it's never going to get resolved.
Well,
though.
no, I think there's something to be said here. So the Earnhardt-Perkins system as a system, right? When
Yes.
you run it across the board, what that essentially means is you run the same route combinations just out of different formations.
True.
Right.
Okay. I'm with you so far.
So also with the Earnhardt-Perkins system is receivers will adjust routes based on coverage, right?
Okay.
Receivers adjusting routes based on coverage, your receiver and your quarterback have to be seeing the same thing. Allen sees it, but not at the same time the receiver sees it. That's why Allen's throws are late, right? So when you're looking at the windows that are there, and he throws a pass, and it's like the pass that got broken up to Brown when they went for it on 4th down. Pass was late.
It was late.
The pass was late, and it was a
was
little
behind
behind.
him. Yeah.
It was late and a little behind.
It was the right read, though.
It was the right read, but it was late and a little behind. And it's
Yes.
like watching the Zabruder film, back into the left, back into the left. And Allen, when you get frustrated with the Josh Allen miss, it's not that Josh Allen missed him by a mile. He was
Late.
a quarter of a second late. And is that because of the offensive system,
John Pat into the
or is
wind.
or is that the end of the win would make a difference, right?
Yeah, it would make it would make a difference. But if you're throwing into that wind, you have to account for that. Here's the thing that gets me: if that's a timing route, if that is a timing route, and he has to throw it and get it off in front of Darby, he waited because the route concept on that, and I'll try to break that down, was he had Foster running to the corner to try to take the safety, which he did. Why he waited for him to take the safety? You know what I mean? He waited too, like you said, he waited too long for him to take the safety out of there so he could
Yep.
safely throw it to Brown. You got to trust that your wide receiver is going to take that safety and occupy him. Otherwise, why not throw it to Foster?
Right.
Foster would have not been a bad choice to throw to him there. So I am very, the chicken or the egg we talk about, all right, is it on Allen or is it on Dable? Well, there were some questionable play calls that you had there. Okay. Well, even the plays, and the other side of that is the plays that you did call that were good, Allen didn't hit them. If he hits those, who knows? Okay? The one that he threw to Croft, right read. The one that he threw to Brown, right read.
Right.
Accuracy's an issue now. Now, I'm not going to be one to blame the weather
Right.
because he's had these throws in nice weather games.
Sure.
So I'm not blaming the weather on it. And one of them was with the wind. So I'm
Yep,
not going to
sure
blame
was.
that at all. Allen, okay, Tim Ellington, chicken or the egg? How long has Dable been in the NFL versus Allen? Seems like an easy question to answer, in my opinion.
Ooh, that's a fascinating point.
Well, he's been in the league. Dable has been in the league for quite a while, and
Yeah.
he has not had a very colorful, successful route. But
Right.
then again, he's never had anybody to work with.
Right.
So that's always been the excuse for him. He's never had any talent. Well, now he has talent, and John Patrick comes in and says this loss means absolutely everything. Well, still
it's-
5-2 at this
It depends
point.
on how much weight you putting on, on a team that was 3-4 walking into this game. You're going to lose football games. It happens, right? I don't think this one is the nail in the coffin.
Hey, Dan's in here. He said the loss. Well, that's what he was responding to them. Dan Mitchell comes in and says this loss means absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Where John Patrick said it means absolutely everything. I think if the loss in itself, from a record standpoint, you're 5-2. You still control your destiny. You
Yep.
lost to an NFC team, which doesn't hurt you in your conference. Okay, So mathematically speaking, it doesn't really quote unquote hurt you right away.
Right.
However, the hiccups and the things that are going on in the 7th game of this season with this offense are concerning.
Sure.
That's where it means something, I
Sure.
think, to me. So,
Well, maybe we should take a moment real fast and just kind of take a look at what. Sorry, I have not muted this site. Rookie mistake. Excuse me 1 second. There we go. So perhaps we should talk about trade targets, right? Because I think that's going to be sort of a hot button topic. So why don't we look at possible trade targets for the Buffalo Bills? Because I think a lot of people are going to say you can solve a lot of problems by going out and getting somebody in the trade market. I think it's a matter of opinion whether you feel like that's going to improve the team enough. And there's a lot of different areas. I'm sure prior to today, you might not have thought, the interior of your defensive line was an area you needed to improve because you have Jordan Phillips, who was playing at a high level. You had Oliver, who you just invested a top pick in. You lost Harrison Phillips, but, you do also have Starler Tulele. So you're looking at the interior, like, well, we could probably make it. We could probably make this work. It's all right.
some mentioning of Star. Like he got thrown around a little bit.
He did today. He sure did.
All right, so
if you're looking at defensive linemen, right, to improve.
Oh, you want to look? Okay, I just want to go for the top targets. I was just going to read the top targets off to everybody.
That article's a little old at this point because I had already pulled it up. That one's a little aged out. Most of them are in the AFC East, and you know what I think about trying to deal guys inside the AFC East, right? All right, so here's what you got. So potential trade targets. You have Ndamukong Suh in Tampa. Tampa's not going anywhere.
No.
Derek Wolfe from the Broncos. Broncos aren't going anywhere. And Geno Atkins from the Bengals. Bengals aren't going anywhere. So do any of those guys solve what you seem to have across the defensive line as an issue?
Atkins, Sue, and Wolf. I don't know. Wolf's like 90, isn't he?
Yeah, somewhere around there. Right around there. I mean, Ndamukong Suh's the name that, of course, comes to mind, but Ndamukong Suh has typically been more of a pass rush guy than he has been a run stopper.
Well, not so much. No, he's not so much a pass rush guy. I mean, only his rookie season did he have more double-digit sacks.
Okay.
I mean, he's a horse in there you got to bring down. I think that you already have him already in Starler Tulele. Why pay more money for someone that's the same type of player?
Yeah, but you're only looking at half a season. You're from a dollar standpoint. Sue's not going to kill you. I think you only signed like a $10 million deal anyway, so you're going to have to take $5 million on the chin. If you're going to trade...
Wolf was 29. Sorry, I was just... I was goofing
nowhere
around,
near. So if you're...
I was just goofing around.
So if you're looking at Ndamukong Suh, who cares? Who cares? You're looking at half a season. Now, the question is going to be able to pick up the system. He's going to be fresh across that defensive line, but does he really help you enough to want to trade a starter? Because you look at third-round picks in this team... Third-round picks next year, those are starters. Are you willing to trade a starter next year to get somebody in now?
Are you willing to trade
a starter next year? Because your first, second, third-round picks have been starters on this team.
No, because what they've been able to pick up in the draft has been very successful for them. Just looking at Star's numbers at the end of 2020 is when you can cut him without any huge dead cap.
Yeah.
Bills could take it on their chin right now. It's not a big deal. But next year, at the end of 2020, if you cut him, here's the deal. if you cut him post June 1st, next season.
Yeah.
So just before camp, you end up saving $5 million.
That's a real possibility right now, dude.
So
I got to be honest.
At the end of camp next year, you can cut Star.
Yeah.
So
that's a real possibility.
just letting everybody know. As far as the
being
contract goes, they're like, this is why they can't cut him is because he's gonna cost too much money. The biggest trouble I see is UZIT21. He said the biggest trouble I see is linebacker depth. Lowe isn't sideline to sideline.
Yep.
And and can get out on screens. After Edmonds and Milano, the coverage is bare. This is why Vic Beasley has been brought up many times for people.
See, I just don't. I can't get.
I'm
behind
just saying.
the Vic
I'm saying
Beasley
why his name's been brought up. I'm just saying.
No, I get it. I don't. I'm struggling with that one a little bit, right? I just struggle with it a little bit. The name that I keep going back to is Alec Ogletree because he's got 2 more years left on his deal after this year, right? His base salary is going to be guaranteed at this point already because he's going to be 28 as vested veteran anyway. So whatever you're trading, in order for the Giants to trade him, is going to cost him about $2 million. Whatever.
Does it
right?
concern you that the Buffalo Bills have been his third team by the time he's 28 years old?
No.
Because he was drafted by the Rams.
Yep.
And now he went to the Giants. Do you think that may be a character issue? Because you know me, unfortunately for
traded?
me, I would take 22 convicts and win the Super Bowl every year.
And truth be told, I don't really see the Giants wanting to deal a 28-year-old linebacker that they just signed in free agency last season.
True.
But
what are you talking about?
Well, I'm saying that Alec Ogletree gives you the linebacker depth to make you a little bit more comfortable.
Jay Mass, isn't Vic Beasley old too? No, he's still on his rookie deal.
Yeah.
Beasley's still on it. Wait, he's on his fifth-year option. I'm sorry.
Fifth-year option. Well,
He's on
still
his
rookie deal, but yeah.
Rookie deal, yeah.
Yeah,
Dan says Paul Marcus Golden.
Ooh.
I know, right? It's intriguing. It's very intriguing. Grendel, why can't we ever win all caps? I think we're going to have a lot of all caps in the postgame.
Yeah, I know, right?
Dable stopped running the ball way too early. We were moving the ball. Rock 585. Tim, I'd rather go after free agents after the season and build off young talent. I don't want to trade unless it's a good deal. And I think this week is desperation trade week. So possibly pulling the trigger on something that they should.
I don't know if Bean's got a panic button to hit, man. Like, I don't know if he's got a panic button. You guys tell me. If you think Bean is willing to give up future assets to try and salvage, winning the division this year, you let me know. Because I don't think Bean has that panic button to say, we're a wide receiver away.
Worried.
Let me pull the ripcord.
No, because I think it goes deeper than it. I think he could realize what he's seeing is that there's no continuity on the offense.
Yeah,
Chris continuity.
Chris Mazepsky, Yannick, whatever. We talked about him on the stream with Dan Mitchell.
The defensive end for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, the question becomes, is it really? Where is the problem?
Nagoku?
Right. That's right. So where is the problem? Where are you going? Are you going offense? Or are you going defense if you're looking at a trade? Let's say the Bills have to make a trade. Your back's up against the wall. You know they're going to make a trade. You have a choice between offense and defense. Which side is it, and who is the guy you're going after? Because, there's a lot of things that you can go. Robert Sherry brings up the third round for O.J. Howard. Bruce Arians has no use for tight ends. Bruce Arians will happily trade tight ends all day long.
But he hates rookies more.
He does hate rookies more, but he's already got Cameron Brate there. Cameron Brate's on a contract.
No, I'm saying the third rounder. What is he gonna do with the third rounder? He hates starting guys. Guys have to prove it to be in his system. You know what I mean? Oh God, if I got to trade for somebody.
Yep, you have to make a trade right now.
I'm not doing it.
Come on, you're not making a trade?
No, I'm firing Dable and I'm putting Dorsey in there.
Yep.
No, I'm not gonna do that. But because I think you have the pieces you need. You have amazing cap space for next year. You have a lot of controllable deals for next year. Mm-hmm. Unless someone blows your doors off with an offer, I don't think you do anything. Yep. I really don't, because what I wanted to see today was when they told me Foster was activated, I wanted to see him right across from Brown and say, listen, let's try it out. Mm-hmm. Let's see what happens today, putting Brown on the other side of Foster. How are they going to play us with this much speed? And someone even said it in the chat earlier, Greenwood. He said, Mackenzie Roberts, Foster, McLeod, aren't these guys the same guy? You're like, no, Foster's big. Like, no one really knows how big.
Foster's 6'2".
He's 6'2". Yeah. He's a big guy. McLeod's pretty short. Mackenzie's like 5'9". Roberts is taller, but he's not as when Roberts is in there, it's funny because what they're running. Right. Mackenzie was inactive today, so if you have Roberts in there, you know what you're running. You know what they're running. So it's not a big deal. But if my back's against the wall and you want me to trade for somebody,
you got to make a trade.
I got to make a trade.
Rules of the game.
You go first.
Okay. If I have to make a trade, I'm trading for linebacker depth. Period. The end.
You always steal mine.
Got it. Well, you told me to go first.
I know.
You told me to go first.
So you're trading for Ogletree. You've already tipped your hand. You want to trade for Ogletree.
Ogletree's the only guy that I know of that I think would be able to solve that a team is willing to sell on right now. And it's just because the Giants are a little bit of ways away, but you're probably going to have a second-round pick for him.
I give a sixth up for Josh Gordon.
An expiring contract?
Yes. Because I've already cut a sixth rounder. Wait, what was Raven McLeod? Was he a 7th rounder? He was a 7th rounder. So you are already willing to part with a late round pick. 7th round, 4th, 5th, McLeod. One of you guys will tell me what it was. But that's even better because you were willing to part with a pick anyway. Mm-hmm. They've lost a few picks because they've traded for guys.
Right.
So why not give him a 6th back?
Well, Chuck Christopher had mentioned Hassan Reddick, who I love from Arizona, but I don't see Arizona moving on.
Ogletree going to play 15% of snaps. So you're going to trade for a guy that plays...
Well, exactly. What you're doing is you're taking snaps away from Lorenzo Alexander, but I don't think teams are really fooled by what you're doing with Lorenzo Alexander at this point.
No,
right? You put that on film enough. I don't think teams are really fooled by him being the jackknife all over the place. It was very valuable at the beginning of the season, but I'm not really sure.
Well, if this is the defense that you want to play in the future, and you know you're not going to have him next year, Beasley's the guy they're going to go with because I think he's more transition. Shaq Thompson is a guy like that. Shaq Thompson would be a great guy to get in here. They signed.
Dan's losing sure stirs up the beehive, don't it? Yeah, this losing here doesn't trouble me as much, right? You're going against Washington next week, fine, right? Fine. You're going against the Browns the week after that.
What's the deadline?
I'll get you the official date.
Okay.
It's 4:00 Eastern, but I'll get you the official date.
It's usually on a Wednesday, right?
Usually it is.
So it's going to be on the 30th?
But I know that they pushed it back because it used to be week 8 and then they pushed it to week 10. So all trades have to be submitted New York time, 4:00. But of course, it doesn't give me the freaking.
All right, Naveed comes in. The defense was better when we blitz. We rarely blitz, and that was because a lot of times when you blitz, you're either vacating a zone or doing something. Carson Wentz coming into the game, excuse me, he was 68% completion percentage when opposing teams blitzed him, 58 if they didn't blitz him. So that's why the Bills were sitting back a little bit more.
Yeah.
Plus, it's easier to try to find gaps because let's just say this, for example, you can blitz Milano through the gap on the left side of the defense all the way, and the teams never have to run that way.
Right.
So if they're running opposite and you blitz Milano up the one side, the opposite gap, he's not going to be able to be in the cutback lane for when the running back comes
4:00 Eastern Standard Time, October 29th. So
Tuesday
is the official trade deadline.
So today, 2 days.
2 days from now.
So tomorrow, something's going to happen.
Yep. 4:00 Eastern Standard Time. That's the deal. But that's just when it has to be submitted to the league. Now, you might hear trades being leaked out afterwards, just as long as they were submitted to the league in time. That's all that really matters.
Robert Sheary, I was disappointed in the third down defense. Just couldn't get off the field. No, they couldn't. Because there were a lot of third and manageables that Wentz had. And a couple that weren't very manageable, and he ended up getting the first down for it. So it was very disappointing on both sides of the ball. But now, a 31-13 loss to the Eagles. This is, dare I say, what happens when your defense can't carry you and hold a lead for you?
Yeah, you're going to lose games like this. Yeah, when you're depending on your defense to keep you in games. These are the games that you lose, right? But you have to know that coming in. And this style, if this is your method to success, there's going to be times where the defense isn't going to be able to do what you need it to do. And you have two great defensive minds in Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott. But one of the problems that you have with having two great defensive minds in Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott is that you've got one offensive guy, and then you have Brian Dable. Sorry, that was a shot at Brian Dable. Excuse me. So you got Ken Dorsey and Brian Dable really running the ship from an offensive side, right? They're the ones in charge of everything. And McDermott's always been dialed into the defense, but he's a little bit more of a game manager where he wants to oversee everything. But he's historically been hands off with the offense, right? When does Sean McDermott need to step up and say, this isn't good enough? Now, you scored 13 points today. You lost by as many points as you score in games on average, right? So what does Sean McDermott need to do to get this jump started? What's up?
Mike Trotter says, stop making excuses.
What?
Grendel says, Paul is the master of softening the pain.
That's right.
Ernest Dietz, probably the greatest comment. He comes in 09, he's talking about Dable's history.
Yep.
09 in Cleveland, he was 29th.
Yep.
10 in Cleveland, 31st. 11 in Miami, 20th. 12th in Kansas City, 32nd.
Yep.
Gets chased out of the NFL for not getting it done. Comes back to the Bills, 18th. In 2018, he was 30th. And so far, they're 23rd. At what point do you say enough? They're boys, aren't they? Aren't
Yeah.
him and McDermott boys back in the day?
No.
I think they know each other.
Well, they know each other. I think did they go to high school together? They have an early connection in life.
Mo-
They have a very early connection in life.
Most likely to hire you to be an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, it's. Here's
That's
where
a great. That's.
But
Thank
you're
you for
absolutely
looking all
right.
that stuff up.
But you're
that was
absolutely
awesome.
right. Yeah, history of points scored, because that's what that stat is, right? It's history of points scored for Dable, not strong, right?
No.
Just not strong. He's been a one and done everywhere he's gone.
He is. He even had to go to college to come back to the pro.
And he was a one and done in college.
Yeah. After you won a title.
Yeah. It's just tough when, you look up and down the roster and, like, I like John Brown. I like Cole Beasley. But
Yes.
both of them really need some help. Right? But I really feel like the system hampers Allen more than Allen hampers the system right now. I really
Ooh.
feel that way.
I'll go on the other side of this.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
So
you're saying that the system is putting the handcuff, because I said it during the broadcast.
Yeah.
I said that the system is handcuffing Allen. Yeah, you think Allen's, and I'll take the point of Allen's handcuffing the system.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
All right,
All
let's hear
right,
it.
so let's rumble. All right,
Let's
so
try
here's
this
the
one.
deal. So you take a look at the weapons across the offense, right? You have John Brown, Cole Beasley, Duke Williams, right?
Yep.
And admittedly, number 2, number 4 on
Okay,
most NFL
Are
rosters.
you going to try to?
No.
Stop you.
I'm not taking the angle you think I'm taking.
All right, here we
now
go.
let's look up and down your tight ends, right?
Okay.
You got Tyler Croft, a tight end 2. You got Lee Smith, a tight end 2 to 3, depending on your system.
Okay.
You got Dawson Knox, who was third round pick. That
Okay.
you're looking at tight end 2 to 3, right? You're working across the board, and you don't have a clear leader on offense.
All right.
Right?
I'm
You don't have any route runners that could take over a football game. You don't have any tight ends who could take over a football game. You don't have any leaders on offense, so it has to go to Josh Allen, right?
Defaults to him,
It
right.
defaults to Josh Allen, right? So to me, when I look across, when I see the play calls, I don't get mad at John Brown for not shaking coverage on a 15-yard in route, right? I don't get mad at John Brown for that. John Brown is a wide receiver too. I don't get mad at John Brown for that,
Okay.
right? I don't get mad at Cole Beasley when he's running a crosser and Allen looks over him because he knows that they're playing zone coverage and Beasley doesn't sit in the zone. I don't get mad at that,
Okay.
right? What I get mad at is the fact that in this offense, there's no one player who can take it over. We've pined for Devin Singletary to come back. We all did. We all pined for Devin Singletary to come back. Devin Singletary came back. He is a minor part of this offense, just like Cole Beasley is a minor part of this offense, just like Dawson Knox is a minor part of this offense. They want to spread the football around, but the truth of the matter is they need to get an asset that could take over a game. They don't have that.
They do
right?
have an asset.
You're going to tell me Robert Foster is that asset. I see this coming.
I'm saying, which part of the argument was I taking again?
So you're taking that the system doesn't hamper Allen. Allen hampers the system. I'm taking that Allen isn't the problem. The system's the problem.
Well,
So-
I think you're making both arguments because you're saying that there's no playmaker, and the playmaker is supposed to be your quarterback. That's the guy that's supposed to take over the game.
See, I don't put that on Allen
Okay.
at this point.
Okay, I'm saying that Allen's hampering the system.
Yeah.
When I call a route for John Brown to run a hitch route on the outside, and he drops it, if I run a play over the middle over Dawson Knox where Allen puts it right on him, he drops it. Is that on me? If I run a play where I know I'm going to have a mismatch with Tyler Croft running a flag route, and then Singletary's on the outside, and then the ball's not thrown anywhere where it should be, which all three of those plays would have generated first downs. Why is that on my plate? It's not me holding it up. My play calling on that set of series of whatever's going on was solid. Now I called a quarterback run play that we've probably hit 90% of the time on a first down when we wanted to do it. He fumbles. Okay, is that on me? Did I design that was going to be a fumble? Now you can get mad at me for saying that. You can get mad at me for saying that he probably wouldn't have got the first down if he got tackled. What do you want me to do? My quarterback has more turnovers than our defense has created.
Sure. Yep.
That's not due to scheme. That's due to him trying to be a hero after I tell him to throw the ball away. So, like I said, like both of us said at the onset of the whole thing we were talking about, we're both right in this.
Yeah,
You know, like,
it really is about perspective.
So
right?
if you're talking about Allen's holding up the system because he's not developed yet, and then you say the system is not playing to his strengths, you'd be right.
Yeah, both
And
of
it
those are
sounds
right.
weird,
Yeah, I
but
know.
that's what's happening is that you have this kid that has a wealth of talent. Now, he needs to learn what he needs to learn. We understand that. He has to learn it. However, if you're not letting him learn and letting him take his lumps against these horrible teams where you're like, okay, we're going to do X, Y, and Z and then just let him, and I'm going to take away all controls from him. Like you said in the one episode.
Yeah.
It's like teaching a kid to swim by throwing him in the deep end,
Yeah.
and he can't swim, so you pull him out and say, okay,
Okay, good job.
you swam.
Pat him on the head. Good job.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So it's
So I guess the point that we're trying to make here is you could beat each other up in the chat or with your friends on Facebook or in any Facebook Bills group. You could say that Josh Allen's the problem. You could say that Brian Dable's the problem. And honestly, there's enough out there.
There's 700 comments that
There's
follow
both.
it.
There's both. There's so much on both sides of that you're just picking your poison, right? So both are right, and you have to understand that at this point there's not. There's reasons to be critical of both. I guess is the best way for me to phrase that. I do want to point out that there are a lot of comments in the chat that I want to get to.
I know because we went through our little thing.
Well, John Patrick mentions there was no play action today. Play action is based off of when you run the football. You ran the football with your backs 13 times. No, Gore had 9 rushes. Singletary had 3. You ran the football with your running backs 12 times today. How does play action work when you ran the football 12 times? It doesn't. Play action doesn't work when you run the football 12 times. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Why wasn't Foster utilized? That comes from Young King. I wish I knew, man. I know that they were battling, and they have battled some behavioral issues with Robert Foster. Not really being prepared. But, I mean, how prepared do you have to be to run a go route?
Well, I think the thing that you want to realize is that they weren't running the ball like we were talking about the play action. They weren't running the ball. So it's kind of hard to run play action. Aside from that, you wanted to give Allen as much time to diagnose what the defense was going to be anyway. Because Schwartz is very, very good. Schwartz is amazing. So you want to give Allen all the time to scan the field. If he's doing a play action, he could turn around and run a fake, and Malcolm Jenkins can come off the end and kill him on a delayed blitz. So you wanted everything in front of Allen today, which is probably why they didn't run too much play action.
Well, Tom Talk says the Philly OC had the game time adjustments due to what the weather and ran the ball. Dable continued to pass. And I think after the Bills went down, after the long touchdown run by Miles Sanders, their next possession was pass, 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 right? That was the possession that was pass, pass, pass? Feel like
Yes,
it was.
yes.
Yeah. That's just so frustrating to me.
Carson, don't feed Paul like that. Just don't give him that. Don't put it up on a tee for him.
What am I missing? I'll find it.
Daniel Carson.
I'll find it.
Bills need a number 1 wide receiver.
I listen. There's one guy out there that you can talk about, but the question is, can you bring him in? Can he learn the system? Because he's been in Cincinnati for a while.
Not even him.
No?
I'm talking about Gordon, man. Gordon's already played in this system.
Yeah, but he's on IR. Like you can't bring him back till week 16. What do you mean?
Patrick Chung's on it. Should be on IR.
Oh my! Listen to this freaking guy. Listen to this guy. The Patriots are playing games because they put Gordon on IR to free up the roster spot. I don't think they were really happy with his level of production. He's not hurt. He's not
I don't think
injured.
he's hurt at all.
He's
That's what I'm
not
saying.
hurt, but they put him on IR.
Gordon, no, yeah. I don't know. But here's the thing. You could be of the mindset that, okay, if you bring in talent will trump whatever Dable's doing, and they'll be able to be successful. Okay, great. However, if you're of the mindset that, okay, Allen is having trouble, he's struggling, no amount of talent bringing in will help him. If you have the current talent here and he's able to develop with them, now you think about it. You got Beasley for how many years? 3? 4?
Beasley and Brown are both 3.
They're both here for 3 years. Okay, along with Allen's development, they're here for 3 years. Foster, you have on his rookie deal for his 3 or 4 years. You got McKenzie here for 3 or 4 years. Roberts signed a 2-year deal or 1-year deal. I can't remember.
Roberts, I think he's on a 1 year.
So, and you have Knox. You drafted Knox. You have Croft. So you have all those guys on controllable deals and everything. So you have this cast of characters that could develop with each other for a number of years.
Yep.
In the EP system. It's heavily predicated on timing. It's heavily predicated on reads.
Yeah.
But Allen has to make the reads and be on time. He's not doing either of those.
No.
Okay.
No.
Now, if the quote unquote process of the Buffalo Bills was to, these are the growing pains, and they didn't care if they were 2-5 at this point, just as long as he's learning, that's fine. That's fine. I don't think he's learning anything though, because the minute he has to start doing something on his own, you take the keys away from him.
Yep. That's true.
Those are all those fourth quarters.
Evan Anderson says it seems they're really hesitant to take the training wheels off Devin Singletary, or they're scared they're going to break Frank Gore. Again, that's another chicken or the egg scenario, right?
I wouldn't be scared about Frank. Frank Gore's.
I'm not worried about running
ageless.
Frank Gore into the ground. I personally am not. I don't know about the Bills, but I think a case could be made that they're being very conservative with Frank Gore and they're being too careful with Devin Singletary. I think it's a very easy argument to make on either side. I don't really understand too much of a reason for it. One thing that the Bills were able to effectively do the first few games was run out of shotgun, and Ernest Dietz brings it. He goes, so wait, Gordon went for 7 yards, then 7 more for a first down. How would going to shotgun create play action either? So the Bills ran effectively out of shotgun the first few weeks of the season, and really didn't see them do that very much. One of the reasons the Bills are running an interior zone scheme is because that's the look that Devin Singletary got in college. So if you see Devin Singletary in a shotgun set, most of the rushes for Devin Singletary in college came from a shotgun set with an inside zone scheme, right? So that's a look that he's very familiar with, the blocking scheme.
Yep.
But Devin Singletary's not getting a lot of touches, and again, I'm not in the room to tell you why.
At this point, I don't know. Like Miami, I can get it. Okay, he came back, you gave him 7 touches. Okay.
Yeah, but he got 3 rushes today.
3. Why aren't you calling runs?
And all in the second half.
Yes.
All in the second half.
All right, Grendel comes. Mackenzie's a speed demon. Paul, you drank beer earlier, now drinking soda pop. What a tough belly. Respect, Dan.
That's it.
James Pars, passing. He says, I don't understand why we refuse to play Singletary. He had another one. Ernest D's coming in hot once again. He goes, talent will not fix Dable. He had Jamal Lewis in Cleveland and didn't run him till week 16 after being told by the head coach.
That's 100%.
Matt Castle in Kansas City was in shotgun and was sacked all the time. Enough excuses.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And again,
you want a job? That's amazing, though. Thank you, for those comments.
And I think it's hard sometimes to cover the Bills and sound like we're not being negative all the time, right? And here's the thing. And I promise you guys, all 94 of you on the live chat in YouTube and everybody joining us in Sportscaster, I promise to God, we are not being negative. We're simply trying to unpack objectively what the Bills can do, where some of the learning curves are. So we apologize very much if that sounds like we're being negative, but the truth of the matter is there's some very real things that you need to kind of make your determination on. Because right now, like let's say we go into Washington, right? The Bills win that football game just for argument's sake. Okay, so now they're 6-2. You go to Cleveland, and now you lose. You go from 6-2 to 6-3, and now you're starting to get a little bit harder part of the schedule, right? Mm-hmm. And you've lost 3 games to you've lost the game to the Patriots, the Eagles, and the Browns, right? Okay. All the other teams that you've played, you were supposed to beat the pants off of. You're supposed to beat the pants out of all of them.
You're average.
Right.
You're taking advantage of But here's the thing that happens. Mm-hmm. The Bills were 6-10 last year. They're supposed to have a soft schedule. Mm-hmm. The only team that's supposed to have a softer schedule than them are the Cardinals. Are all these teams that finish below them. Okay, if you were 4-12, 3-13, 2-14 team, though you're the ones that's supposed to have the easier schedule. Because the way that it works in the NFL is if you win the Super Bowl, the next year you're supposed to have the toughest schedule. Okay? Now, the Patriots, true, they have Houston and Kansas City as their because there's 2 games that every team has, as you guys know. There's 2 games that they have that aren't a part of their division, aren't part of the division that they play, or aren't a part of anything else.
Yeah.
So they play Kansas City and Houston, who were both division winners last year. Mm-hmm. So that's how the league is supposed to go.
Right.
The Bills are supposed to play a powder puff schedule this year because they were 6-10. Mm-hmm. Doesn't seem to work out that way all the time. However, that's how it's supposed to go. They're supposed to beat these teams that they're supposed to beat.
A big shout out to Nick Shupak in Sportscaster. We had Modelo Especial on the broadcast.
A lot of them.
Could I just tell you how much I appreciate the fact that we're allowed to drink beer while we do this? Wonderful.
Are we?
I don't care. All right, let's move on. Scuba had mentioned in Sportscaster, so I want to get to his comment. He said Whaley fired Greg Roman when it clearly wasn't working out. McDermott needs to do the same. It just isn't working. Referring to Brian Dable. A little bit of a different dynamic there. So I want to just talk about that just for a second because he's right. We did fire an offensive coordinator when it was clear it wasn't working. Now the record was very different at that time, but that was also
Yes.
Rex's final year, and kind of the thought process was Rex wanted Roman fired because Rex was close to getting fired, and Roman would have been next man up anyway. Because
Yes.
Roman was talked about as being a head coach candidate
That's usually
before that season.
That's a buffer.
Exactly.
A coordinator is always a buffer for a head coach.
Exactly. So Rex kind of maneuvered it to get Roman fired because he knew his job was really on the line.
Absolutely.
So that's what happened there. So you're right. That has happened in
Fired
Bills
Dennison,
previously. However, the dynamic that went behind that's a little bit different. It's not really the same.
Dan comes in and says, Paul, when you cover a losing effort, it's almost impossible not to sound negative. You're okay, bro.
Yeah, it's true. You always want to try and find some positives here, but that's it. Naveed replaced Dable with Paul. Listen, guys, I coached a 12-year-old football team one time as offensive coordinator.
You sound like Al Bundy.
four touchdowns in one game.
Polkai football.
That's it.
Dable
That would be an awesome football jersey to own.
Oh, we talked about this.
Yeah, an Al Bundy, Polkai football jersey. That would be a killer jersey to
Anthony
own.
John coming in positive. He said negative. They are a new team at 5-2. What's the problem? I think the problem is that they're not new to the NFL. A lot of these guys are veterans that they brought in. That
this is
and
not a
don't
young
question
team.
the line.
It's not a young team.
I'm sure after Tuesday I'll question the line, but I don't question the line. I think they played pretty well today.
Yeah.
I think Allen, and you brought it up. He has a tendency that when he gets in the pocket and his internal clock goes off, or I have to have the ball off, he goes backward instead of stepping up in the pocket.
Yeah, so
and he had pockets to step up into.
Well,
today.
and let's talk about that for a moment because I think that's a good point to be critical of, right? So a lot of times when you have a big arm quarterback, going backwards is not a big deal to them, right? Because it's not like they're losing distance. They have the arm to push the ball down the field still. If they go backwards, they have a cannon. They don't care if they're going backwards, right? But Allen also has a problem with as he's standing in the pocket, he gets wider and wider, right? And as his base gets wider and wider, what happens?
The elbow drops and the ball sails.
Ding, ding, ding. And you saw that a lot today when he was trying to stand tall in the pocket and he was waiting. A lot of people commented on the live stream, he's getting happy feet. And you're right. You watch that base get wide, wide, wide. You go back and watch him in Wyoming, homeboy's feet were way out here. So he looked like a tripod out there. His legs were so spread out wide. So, but that's been a known problem with Allen back in college, and you're kind of starting to see a little bit of that right now. So, again, you can go back and say coaching's not the problem. I saw Raymond Peterson say that in the chat that coaching's not the problem. A thick-headed quarterback is our problem. Is his follow-up comment. And again, you can make that argument if you want, and there's evidence to prove that Allen could be the problem right now with the Bills scoring 24, 28 points a game, right? Like, I think we'd all prefer the Bills to score 24, 28 points a game. They're now going to be sub 20 points a game after this.
Again, yep.
Which is a big deal, right? You got to sure 3 touchdowns a game to win in the NFL, period, the end. That's like the watermark. Can you score 3 touchdowns a game? Bills can't.
Yeah, talking about how banged up this Philadelphia secondary was. It was a chance for Allen. I know the weather was horrible. I understand it. But this was a chance for Allen to step out of the shadows of throwing the ball, and he could have had a huge day today with the win, and he didn't. So it's trying to, and I'll post something in the community tab for you guys tonight because I'm so interested in a couple of things. One, I'll probably post what you guys want to see. I think a lot of people want to see the defensive line and in the run packages that Philly was able to do. I definitely will want to do a video on the defensive line. That's
right.
one. But if you guys want me to do another one, I'm going to post that in the community tab. The other thing is this. If we take a look at Allen or Dable, I'm kind of curious what hashtag Nation feels as a whole, because we're getting comments in here about both of them.
Yeah.
But as a whole, I would like to see who thinks it's who's.
Well, and while we wait for
issue.
everybody to comment, Allen or Dable, hey Matthias, what's up? Jayceon, I think Jayceon James was his last name. Was it James? Let me look real fast. Yeah, Jayceon James says if Allen isn't progressing, why is Dable putting the ball in his hands and not leaning more on the run game? That's a great question. That's a beautiful
I
question.
would. That's a question we've been asking for 4 weeks.
But again, unfortunately, that question can only be answered by what's your perspective? Is it Allen or is it Dable? Right. So depending on how
I
you
don't
view
think
the
you ever
answer
go
to that,
wrong. I don't think you ever go wrong. Now, what you're saying is this: because Allen is not playing to the level he should, they're stacking the box, so they're not able to run. Or are you saying that teams are back, he's not able to pass, and the run's opening up? Numbers prove that the run's good.
right.
So
But again, you as a math guy will even agree that when you're only running the ball 12 times a game with your running backs,
you're conceding the run.
yeah, well, not yeah, exactly. You're giving that up, but also the numbers are going to vary wildly, right? So yeah, the yards per rush are up, but I mean, from a volume standpoint, are you really is that a real number?
well,
I mean, the
Paul,
Bills are running effectively
they're
from a
running
yards per
effectively,
carry.
but they're not run. It's not like they're breaking off 90 yards and
Oh no,
skewing the average.
yeah, no, that's not right.
They're not
You're right.
inflating the average. They're running solid. Boom, boom, boom. 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5.
Right.
Until they stop that. Okay, you have, and that's what makes it so tough about Dable. You have a solid run game, and you have a quarterback who is awesome at play action. Is there a reason you're saving that?
Yeah.
Or you're not doing
Right.
it? Can he
Right.
not play? You don't even know. All right, now, here's the thing. And here's why I get mad about this. And you're talking about this is a simple, basic thing that you could think of in football all the time. Okay? I have to scheme up a way to get my wide receivers open. If I have a bunch of twos, like you said, and a three or whatever, I have to try to find a way to get them open. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run the ball up the middle for 4.5 yards. I'm going to run up the ball up the middle again for another 4.5 yards. And I have a yard to go. Maybe I'll run a QB sneak with my quarterback. Okay, I'm going to reset the set of downs. Now, the defense that comes up against me is going to be slated to order to stop the run. What do I want to do? I want to get Beasley over to the middle. So I'm going to run a play action to get the middle linebacker out of there so Beasley can get there with no problem. How hard is that? This game is not hard.
Were there consonants in that rant?
It's just so stupid. Like, I'm having trouble getting Beasley open over the middle. What do I have to do? Let me run. My run has been successful. I can get it in there. Okay. Once I get it in there, that linebacker is going to be conscious of, listen, I'm not going to have a job if I don't stop the run. Play action. He comes up, dump to Beasley. Now he's caught in a bind on whatever you run. That's the game. It's a very simple game.
Mo Game actually says the Eagles are one of the best run Ds in the league. Dable overthought it. Everything Dable did was on the precedent that the Bills were not going to be able to run the football today. Really, go back and rewatch this game and say, okay, let's pretend for a moment that we're afraid to run the football. Go back and watch the game. Go in and watch it with, let's just pretend we're afraid to run the football today. And you get 12 rushes. You get 12 rushes.
I don't understand. I think you're successful at running the ball. Now, here comes another. Are you successful at running the ball because your linemen are really good at blocking, or are you successful?
Here we go.
No. Are people playing the pass? Because I don't know why anyone would.
I'll tell you what. People are not playing a deep pass because here's what we saw earlier.
Then how's the run so successful if they're playing the short pass?
Mario, if you go back and you watch this game,
Oh,
you're gonna
God, it was
find
so bad.
you're gonna find them in zero coverage like 8 times, right? That tells you that they are not afraid of Allen throwing the ball deep. They don't care. When Bills come out in 2 tight end sets, teams are just going to go zero coverage. They're going to go no deep safety, and they're just going to say, okay, bring it. Bring it. That's fine. Go throw it deep. Throw it deep if you want. Go ahead.
Tim Ellington saw Dable at Wegmans staring at the orange juice container because it said concentrate. I love that joke. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Dan says you're right about something. Congratulations.
I think it was my I think I blacked out because I was just ranting about this game. Because here's the thing. I think it's such a simple game. It is and forever will be a numbers game. You have to take advantage of the numbers. If I want to run this way, I have 4 linemen, they have 3 defenders. I'm not changing the play. I'm running that way.
Right.
Okay? If I want to run this way or I want to throw over here, this guy's blitzing. I know my guy's going to run a hot route. Okay? I'm going to change it to that because that's more successful than that is. Just freaking, it's simple. It's a simple game.
So Tom Talk asks, what were the Bills, what was Gordon Singletary's yards per carry today? Frank Gore, 9 rushes for 34 yards. That's 3.8 on average. 8 yards was the long, so he had a very dirty day. Devin Singletary was 3 for 19, which
However,
is 6.3. But
3 for 4.
yeah,
because he had a 15-yard
he was
run right at the end of the
He
game.
was 2 for 4. Yeah, 2
2
for
for 4. So
or 2 for 3.
well,
He was 2 for 3.
because we said it near the end of the broadcast. He had one run right at the end of the game. That
It was like
for
I think it was the
15 yards.
last play. It was the last play of the game.
Yeah.
And he ran for 16 yards, so you kind of mark that one out. It's kind of like the QB kneel. You don't really count it against Josh Allen's rushing stats. So it from an average standpoint, Devin Singletary was 2 rushes, 3 yards. It's not fantastic. We talk about just real quick the Robert Foster deep pass, the one Robert Foster deep pass today.
It proved nothing. I thought, and I brought it up to you, and you started smirking because you thought I was onto something. That's what's great about it. You hated it. Why do you do it? He overthrew him, blah, blah, blah. It was with the wind. Nothing happened. Mm-hmm. I thought it was great because you put Brown and Foster on the field and threw it to Foster, and you saw the reaction of Philadelphia. They had 2 guys with him. Mm-hmm. Why?
They knew.
Why?
Foster's on the field. They're like, we got to be deep. Yeah.
Why don't you use that to your advantage to throw underneath routes now? Mm-hmm. Like, here's quick, simple thing. Foster's on one side. Mm-hmm. Brown and Beasley are on the other. You run Foster on a deep post. He occupies the safety. Mm-hmm. You run Beasley underneath, and Foster runs a 15-yard in.
I mean, not Foster. You mean Brown.
Brown runs a 15-yard in. Beasley runs a little drag route over the middle. Now you have a levels concept. What that means is that Allen could just look straight down the middle of the field, see Foster, Brown, and Beasley coming in. Mm-hmm. Hit one of them.
Yep.
You read safety to linebacker, hit one of them. Mm-hmm. How hard is that?
I know, buddy. I know. It's tough. It's a tough game sometimes, buddy. It's a tough game. Now, Foster...
Put me in, I'll run deep.
Foster had Malcolm Jenkins beat, right? They had a safety over the top. Foster does not adjust to the football, which is, again, you can go back to last year and look at every pass over 20 yards that Robert Foster didn't catch. A lot of them were adjusting to the football, really, truthfully. It's just not a strength of his. The reason he wasn't drafted, and that's one of the reasons, and something that he continually struggles with, is tracking the ball real great deep. One thing that I do want to bring up is if you're like, well, the Bills will just draft a big wide receiver in the draft next year. Go ahead and look at the top 10. You go to Draft Tech right now, and you go ahead and look at the top 10 ranked wide receivers. There's only one that's over 6'2".
Really?
That's it.
Because they're all slot receivers are all the rage now.
Right.
All
exactly.
Right,
so if you're looking for that, but my point is, and the reason that I'm bringing this up is if you're looking for that big, tall receiver, you got to get the known commodity. You can't go drafting and saying, oh, we're going to draft and develop. No. If you're Buffalo, you got to go get the known commodity at the size and speed that you want. You can't be playing games in the draft. Mm-hmm. Every Bills wide receiver that they've ever drafted is not on the active roster. Yeah. This regime. Since McDermott's been here, they've drafted only 2. They've drafted Raymond McLeod. They drafted Zay Jones. Zay Jones got traded. Raymond McLeod is now on the practice squad, and they cut him this year. And like it's just you got to get the known commodity.
I think I owe #Nation an apology.
For what?
I think I do because I've been ranting and raving like I think I'm the offensive coordinator at this point, and I'm just giving my opinion about the game that I've played, coached, and been studying for 30 years. Like it's just basically. I'm not saying that I know any more than Dable because he's an offensive coordinator in the NFL. Okay, that says something. He coached as an offensive coordinator on a national championship winning football team in college. I'm just saying though, from my outsider's perspective and my years of watching football, I don't know why certain things are happening.
Yeah.
Is he not able to do that? Like, what was the reason for throwing deep to Foster if you weren't going to throw deep with him the rest of the game? Was it a one and done? Is he in the doghouse? Does he not understand the concepts? Because we talked about him running wrong routes during the preseason games.
Yep.
Is he disinterested? Is he out of it? Does he have problems? What's going on? Because we don't know all that stuff. I understand that. Yep. But it's just a very simple game. It's a very simple game. And I just don't know why, because you try to play off of things that you do. You try to set up certain concepts, and I understand that. If I'm running right, and then I run a counter, that's what I'm trying to do.
I guess that's probably one of the big things that I can say that I struggle with a little bit is I'm not seeing those setups, right, from a play calling standpoint. I'm not really seeing the setups. Like the Devin Singletary shovel pass. I was like, what set that up? Nothing set that up. You never gave that look before. Like, what set that Devin Singletary shovel pass on the, on first and goal or second and goal, whatever it was? What play set that up? There wasn't one. right? It could be a frustrating thing to have to watch that. But Daniel Lamprecht Carson, I'm never going to get that right, Daniel. I'm sorry. Says Foster will not be on the squad after Tuesday. Very likely that Robert Foster is a guy who, you're going to look to. The reason he's not on the practice squad is because you can't waive him because somebody's going to pick him up. So he's
never lasted
he's a
longer
trade
than one
commodity.
season on any team,
Which
That's
is
a big
true.
Red flag.
Yeah, the Bills are the only team that he's ever had a 2-year return on as an
And people are
offensive
talking about him
coordinator.
being a head coach. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yep, that's fine.
But
That's fine.
I know Allen's not doing what he needs to do. I know Dable's not doing what he needs to do, which affects the other 10 guys on the
Sure.
offense. Is the offense? It's like for everything to work on one play, everything has to be perfect.
Sure.
On a pass,
Yep.
you know what? Not everything has to be perfect on a run.
No.
It doesn't, because sometimes your running back can help you out.
Yep.
And that's what Gore gives you, is that veteran savviness. When everything doesn't go right in the play, he's able to get you 4 or 5 yards. So
Eric Johnson, here's exactly what needs to happen: snap the ball and hand it off. that's. Yep.
I'm drinking a 30-pack and 3 Tim Hortons donuts in your on.
That's right.
Camp. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds us. So we want to talk about schedule for this week. So upcoming. Normally, what we do is we cut episodes. Tuesday, Thursday, we'll do live streams or we'll cut episodes up. We're actually going to do Wednesday this week, and then we're going to do a film room session on Friday. So definitely let us know what you want. It sounds like offensive line is kind of or defensive line is kind of the thing everybody wants, which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will now. Listen, if something pops up. That's very, very poignant for us to cover, obviously
Bills make a trade. I'll live stream.
Yeah,
something like we'll get
he'll
you
do
covered
his stuff.
there.
But as far as the schedule, because it's getting, we've had some conflicts with our schedules in order to broadcast a lot of stuff for you guys and edit videos and whatnot. So what we're going to do from now on is that if we call a game like we did today, we're going to do our post game, and we're going to do a live feed every Wednesday. For you guys. Okay.
Right.
We're going to kind of suspend the car. We'll try to get into it, but we're going to try to suspend the car until the end of the season.
Right.
So you can expect us to have a live post game every Sunday, and then our Wednesday live feed, and then we'll have the Friday film room. And if there's anything else that kind of pops in there, we'll definitely be in there. If there's a certain topic you guys want us to cover, we're going to cover it.
Sure.
Paul and I could do the individual videos as well, but we're going to kind of scale the amount of videos per week.
Yeah,
So,
just make them a little bit more valuable for you every
yeah,
time
because
that we
things
post them.
happen so fast. Like
this
just
time
for
of year
example,
is
like
tough.
this. If we decided to, let's say we drove. Let's say
Sure.
we drove tonight and we did our episode.
And the Bills fired Dable.
And the Bills fired Dable. And we're talking
Everything
about
we record is
adjustments.
garbage.
Yeah, everything's gone. So
Yeah, it's all garbage.
no, I was thinking more of like the trade deadline. Like we're talking about how much more usage Foster could have in this offense, and he gets traded by Tuesday.
Yeah, right.
The episode would be gone. So basically,
Yeah.
what we're trying to do is we're trying to give you guys the most bang for your buck.
Yeah, and during the off season, that's when we go back in the car and we give you guys the stuff that you're used to.
should we tell them about the off season?
No, let's not worry about that.
The contest?
Now. Oh yeah. I mean, we'll get to that. So that reminds me, we are going to do a we're raising money for the Punt Foundation. So what we're going to do is we have a bunch of autographed merch. Which one's that?
This is
That that's Devin Singletary. So Devin Singletary autographed mini football helmet is one of many prizes that we will be giving away via raffle. So what we're going to do is we are going to post in a promo video how to enter the raffle. It'll be $5 an entry, so we'll take 100 entries. And then we'll give away 2 mini football helmets each game once we hit that 100 entries. That's Andre Reed. So we got a lot of cool stuff. So we'll post a video on how to do that. While you're here and in this video, don't forget to hit that like button. We've only got 19 likes.
Not raising money to plant trees. YouTube creators are shooting for 20 million.
Yeah, right. So we're looking to raise money for the Punt Foundation, which is Brian Moorman's foundation to help kids with cancer. So who can say no to that?
Hey, Tom Talks, of course. If you want it, we're the Brian Moorman Foundation is what we're doing the charity for, and we've got a lot of really good individuals on board to help us, raise money and stuff for this. So it's it's something that I never thought I'd be able to do.
Right.
But you guys have been so supportive in the channel and the things that you guys have been doing for us that we wanna give some stuff back. So
yeah, so it'll be a good opportunity for us to give to you, and everything's going to be random, totally random. So it's basically entering a raffle. There's going to be 100 total entries per game, and then we'll give one away at halftime, one at the final. So
Yes.
we'll do that for 4 games.
Can I
which is
get a
pretty awesome.
Chan Gailey one?
Oh God, yeah, right.
I tried selling one at the cards, Legends and Stars, and they wouldn't take it. It's
I would
crazy.
only get a Chan Gailey autograph if it came on a CJ Spiller jersey. We got
made
that
that
little
man.
got that little scatterbug.
He
That
made
little, need that little scatterbug. Like you have Fred Jackson. Yeah. We need that little scatterbug.
He's funny.
Whatever, Chan.
But
Whatever you say.
yeah, we're gonna have a contest. It's a little bit down the line, but Paul and I were talking about. We're gonna have a contest also for a special Trey White.
Yeah.
A Trey White item.
So cool.
I'm
It's
saying
so
no.
cool.
We're having a fan contest. A long time. When the season's over, we're gonna have a fan contest. One lucky fan will be a special guest in the car
Yep.
for an episode. And
Come on.
we're going to talk about whatever you want concerning the Bills or NFL or anything. So we're going to have that contest coming up. Like I said, that's going to be after the season when everything, all the smoke clears and everything else. But just to remind you guys, Sunday post game, we're going to be there. We'll get Joe from Believers Talk on Sportscaster going to be calling the games.
Yep.
Wednesday, we're going to do a live show at 10 p.m. Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Set your calendar and all other stuff. And then also, we're going to have the Friday film room. I'm going to break down whatever you guys want. We're having a lot of fun doing that as well. Plus, get, strap in because we're going to have some collabs on deck.
Not drinking Zima, Naveed. Nobody needs to be
Zima.
drinking Zima. Which reminds me, next post game, you guys tell us what beer to drink, and if you pay for it, we will absolutely drink it. That's no problem. We will drink pretty much anything. If you pay for it, we'll drink it.
3 cents ago, we're raising
Hampton-
money. Now he wants you to pay
Steve
for his
Hampton
beers.
says a Trey White signed hockey puck. That is a great idea. It's not what it is, but that is a great idea.
He's so good.
That's good.
He's so good.
And not Modelo. Okay. Molson Triple X for
Do you want us
Chris.
to make it through the post game? I don't understand that.
Yeah, that's it. We're drinking Steel Reserve, Colt 44.
Hey,
That's
you
all right.
asked for it.
Yeah.
Send me that helmet. You want this one? This is my son's helmet. It actually fits.
Yeah, that's it. People are banning Modelo since we lost. We're not superstitious as Bills fans. No,
we aren't.
Can
Let
never
us know.
drink Modelo again.
I have no influence over the Buffalo Bills
Yeah.
and what they do.
Yeah, let's do some Old English. Let's just get it going. Rack them up.
Okay, so that being said, leave your comments. Trade deadline is going to be Tuesday. We're going to go live on Wednesday at 10 p.m. It's going to be. I'm going to leave something in the community tab for you guys to vote. Is it Alan or is it Dable? We also have a website, by the way. As many of you guys know, it's actually going to be on the wristbands that you guys got. htagsports.com, where we actually put pen to paper or type a few articles.
Oh no, Tim Ellington. Heavy Seas, loose cannon.
He's the winner.
All right. Well, you get your wish, Tim Ellington. All right.
Oh God.
Ah, yes. All right. Jeez,
So next week, that's what we're getting.
Jeez, why does this taste like tuna fish?
Oh my God.
Let's.
A pirate gave it to us.
Yeah, right.
That's amazing. I could play QB.
The dread pirate Timberleg commands that we drink Heavy Seas.
No, you can't answer that question.
Oh, it's an IPA. Oh God, just shoot me in the face. Listen, I don't like to be
loves sand.
thirsty after drinking my beer. IPA just makes I just feel like
so
I'm drinking
awful.
sand. All right, I feel like I'm drinking sand. I'll do it because I
Dark
did not
Belgian
put a limitation.
IPA. Okay, all right.
I did not put a limitation on.
You can't
Loose
spell.
cannon wins people over at first smell. That is the description of their beer. You would think at first taste. I've never gone and opened up a beer and gone, smells delicious. I can't say that I've done that.
You have with your Zima that you put the Jolly Rancher in.
Listen, we all had tough times in 1997. We all had tough times.
You had diapers.
Not 97.
You're young.
Not 97.
Did this turn into an improv section now? I don't know what's going on.
No.
I'm so confused. So we're so stupid. All right. So hashtag Nation, thank you for joining us for the broadcast tonight. It's Bills' loss is going to be a Bills' loss. We're all upset. We're all going to be questioning what the real reason was. But you know what? The Eagles are not a pushover team. 2 years ago, they won the Super Bowl. You got the same head coach there. You got the same defensive coordinator there. They can diagnose how to beat certain offenses and defenses. And the bottom line, at least from my perspective, and I think Paul agrees, is that the Buffalo Bills were just outcoached today. It wasn't a question of talent. It was a question of game plan and adjustments. And the Eagles were able to make more adjustments than the Buffalo Bills and more successful ones. So that's going to happen. Even the best teams get outcoached sometimes. I mean, if you think Bill Belichick is one of the best coaches, cheating aside, because I know some people are going to say that.
Sure.
If you think Bill Belichick is one of the best coaches of all time, well, this same Eagles team, this front office and coaching staff, outcoached him in a Super Bowl. So, if you're looking for some rationalizations that go on, that's one of the things that you can take with you. And Bills are still 5-2, and they're still in a driver's seat for the AFC wild card. So, that being said, just don't go too crazy tonight.
Right.
And this week, I know how Mondays in Buffalo are so much better when the Bills win, but it's a loss, and you got to move on. And we're on to Cincinnati. No,
So Naveed said our next 4 opponents have won 5 games combined. I was like, sounds like our first 4 opponents won about 5 games combined.
9-2. A lot of people had 9-2 going into Thursday to the Thanksgiving game. So.
All right.
Nice.
Well, that's going to wrap it up, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week. Have a good weekend. What's left of it. And we will see you guys this week on the episodes. Have a good one.
All right, take it easy, guys.
Later.